the road again. We can't wait to get on the road again. Telling stories to our family and our friends. We can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. We can't wait to get on the road again. Telling stories to our friends. We can't wait to get on the road again.
Welcome to our monthly AAA podcast, Affinity, Allie, and Annette on the road to good storytelling with your hosts, Allie Spooner and moi. And this month, we're going to be talking about sapphic fiction romance featuring mature women. Our brand new author to Affinity Rainbow Publications is Glenda Poulter, and she's here to talk about her new book, Never Too Late. We're very excited to talk with her about this debut book with us, with Affinity Rainbow Publications. Okay, I have the absolute pleasure and honor of introducing Glenda. Glenda has been writing poetry, short stories, and novels since she was 10 years old. Well, over a half a century. Slice of life novels with women who love women as her main characters are her specialty. Strong women with human weaknesses and foibles populate her stories along with their sometimes quirky friends. Her past published works include Welcome Home and Out of the Past. Glenda lives in central North Carolina with her long-term partner, Lisa, and the felines that rule their lives. Boy, do I know that. She is the proud mother of a daughter and son and doting grandmother of 2. Other interests include collecting seashells, the fiber arts, crochet, knitting, quilting, reading, and photography. Glenda seldom meets a stranger and strives to leave everyone she encounters with a smile. Glenda has an affinity with the ocean, and she is sure she was a mermaid in a previous life. Its gift of seashells calls her name on a regular basis.
Hi, y'all.
All right. So great. So without further ado, Glenda, if you're ready, you're on. Take it away.
Okay, I've got a short reading from Never Too Late. It's kind of angsty, so bear with me because I get emotional reading my own work. Sandy died in early April, I said. I know that, Tam interjected. Why would that upset me? Please, Tam, let me finish. I covered my face with my hands and took a deep breath before I turned to face her. When she died, I was inconsolable, like I'm sure you were when Darla died. I told you how drunk I got and how Allison and Beth rescued me. Once they got me sober and decided I wouldn't fall off the wagon again, they took me to Sandy's in my favorite motel out at the beach and left me in the care of its proprietress, Miss Tanner. For a week, she sat with me, dried my tears, fixed Sandy's favorite seafoods, and made me go for walks on the beach and look for seashells. I've gone out there for the week of the anniversary of Sandy's death every year since then. Miss Tanner died last year, a few days before I was due. Her partner Hannah and I grieved together, and I promised Hannah I would come back this year. I have to go, Tam. I can't go back on my word, and I need the time to myself. Okay, she said. And I have a tendency to not be nice when I get home, I added almost as an afterthought. Allison calls it my earthquake week because I know it's coming, but it happens when I least expect it. I try to stay home and away from everyone until I can find my center again. Tears rolled down my face, but I did nothing to stop them. But neither did Tam. I stumbled to the coat rack and grabbed my jacket and headed out the door without putting it on. The cold air froze the tears on my face, but I didn't care. When I got to the corner, I stopped and leaned on the fire hydrant and put my jacket on. My eyes closed and I tried to feel Sandy around me, but all the air was cold. I jumped when someone honked their horn. Get in the car, Janice. Tam leaned across the front seat and pushed the passenger door open. You can't just stand there when it's 22 degrees outside. Come on. I stumbled off the curb and climbed into the warm interior of her car. You're so silly. She drove the few feet to my drive and into the driveway behind my old clunker. Would you like me to come in, or do you need some space? I always need you, I whispered. That's why I didn't think you would understand about me going to the beach. You are silly, she repeated as she climbed out of the car and came around and opened the passenger door. It's too cold to talk about this out here. Come on. She offered me her hand, and I let her pull me out of the car. She stood behind me and pushed me to the front door. I laughed when she reached into the front pocket of my jeans for my keys and tried to grope me while she was at it. Once we were inside, she pushed me to the sofa. Before I sat down, she took my jacket from me and hung it up. "Now, Janice," she said in her schoolmarm voice, "why are you so insecure I won't understand things? You need to give me a bit more credit." She lifted my chin and turned my head so we were face to face. "I hate that you'll have to grieve without me there for you, but I'm glad you'll have a little bit of a support system. And I'm sorry the person you counted on for so many years isn't there anymore. But it sounds like you and Hannah help each other face the hard shit, and I'm glad. My only grievance is the whole thing is your earthquake week. I hope I'm not the reason for your earthquake this year or the victim, but I can't let you be alone during such a vulnerable and fragile time. We've pledged we'll be there for each other as we grieve, regardless of what form the grief takes, even anger." I lay flat on my stomach on the couch, my feet in her lap. She pulled my shoes and socks off and started massaging my feet. "They're all stinky," I said into the pillow I buried my face in. "There are parts of every relationship that are stinky," she said. "We have to learn to live with it and tolerate it and forgive it and help each other through it." She stood up and put my feet back on the sofa. I heard her go to the bathroom, but I didn't think about it until she returned and lifted my feet and sat back down. She had brought back a warm cloth and started bathing my feet, which reduced me to tears. Her hands were so gentle, and her love and care emanated through them and up my legs, through my body, and settled in my heart. A cool breeze caressed the back of my head. Sandy hadn't been around for a while, and knowing she was there with me now when I was so confused and so low made the tears flow faster. Tammy gently urged me to move over. She sat down next to me and placed her hand on the same spot on my head where Sandy still rested.